Hello, welcome back to Blender Sushi Live Modding. In this episode, I'm gonna show you how you can use Blender Compositor and SphereChalk nodes in order to kind of make a randomizations of color of an image. So I have this image here of Mario. It's only 32 by 32 pixels, and Shigeru Miyamoto, and you want to make randomization of the Super Mario color. So we know that we have red and yellow and this brownish color for Mario. It's very simple, but um, let's say you want to have like 100 or 1,000 color variations for this image. How are you gonna do that? Apparently you can do that in Blender, so that's pretty easy. So you just go to compositing and start from here. We're gonna drag this Mario image into Blender. So I'm gonna save it there. It's gonna zoom in. There's an alpha channel for the Mario. It's pretty nice. So I'll call this compositing color variation. Save. And here we are in the Blender render, and we're gonna use nodes for the compositor. By default, it has render layers and composite. Render layer, of course, you know that if you're rendering something in the 3D scene, it's gonna goes in here. We don't need this. We're just gonna be using image, and we're gonna use this Mario image, for example. So image goes in there for the final result. But for the viewer, we want to have a viewer node. Plug this guy in, and we can actually see the result right here if we switch to viewer node and just update it. Okay, we have the same image there. We just need to use the color ramp. So this is one way you can randomize a color. By default, color ramp give you this grayscale image of Mario, and you can see that with this character, the grayscale is pretty quite nicely balanced in terms of grayscale color. So you can clearly see, even in black and white, Super Mario character in 32 pixels looks very clear, even that's tiny icon. So you can see that's a very well chosen color. And if we want to make a different color, we can try changing it. So we have like pink there, and then maybe perhaps have different color for skin or something, and another color kind of greenish. If you want to be exact, you can use this constant and just target exactly the part that you want to change. So there you go. So 3 colors, and the alpha actually is still coming from this guy. Okay, so now we have the full character, right? And you can always change it as you like manually, but if you want to do it like if you want to be like using codes or nodes, in this case I will be using nodes. I'll show you how to do it. So I'm gonna save this and then gonna save as new version. And first of all, when we are changing color for this 3 stops of the color ramp, we are actually we can use that we can use Blender Python to do that. You can see here BPY data node groups, compositing node tree, nodes type. The name of the nodes is color ramp, and this is the attributes, the element number 1, and then the color attributes, and you give it this value, 4 values. And you can already know that I do this very often, and we can use SphereChalk to do this. You can also use animation nodes, but I will be using SphereChalk because for me it's a lot faster for this kind of thing. And it's you will see why I chose to use SphereChalk. So if I copy this code, paste here, and then I can actually kind of specify the exact color. For example, I want the red color, so red color is RGB 100. So I can I should be able to do that, but it say compositing node 3 not found. So I think this is a mistake of the Blender code somewhere, but anyway, I don't want to talk about that. I'll show you how we can do it in SphereChalk. I'll start with this node 3 and we're gonna select the scenes. I know that this is gonna work, and object set. So from this scene we're gonna select the node 3. I know that this is how we access this compositing node 3, and I know that the next thing I want to select is this color ramp node. If I forgot, I can always change the color there. I can see this attribute. So nodes called color ramp, and the attribute should be I forgot, elements, color ramps elements, and for the elements we actually have a list. Oh, actually before the elements we need to have a color ramp first. So it's a color ramp. Out values, it's complaining about something, it's not correct. Color ramp. Whenever I forgot, I have this snapshot kind of cheat sheet. So color ramp should be correct. Node scenes, node 3, nodes, color ramp should be correct. I think it's just the coloring that's not correct, but it's okay. I think Blender is not complaining, right? Has no attributes elements. Compositor node file object has no attribute elements. Okay, that's interesting. I'll check very quickly what's going on. So that's a color ramp, and this guy should have color ramp attributes. Let's plug this guy in, plug that thing in, color ramp. So yeah, now it's correct. It's happy with the value. The next one should be elements as a list. And now we can see there are three elements, which is these three stops. They have all different color, and for the color we can say we want to modify the color. And that's actually pretty much it. And we can say, we can give it list input, 3 values or 4 value. In this case we need 4, so we need a color in. And if we just use a single color, you will see that the color will change. Turn on use alpha, so that's red, green, and blue. We only have a single color, that's why it becomes just a silhouette. But if we want 3 colors, we can use we can randomize the RGB. If you would like to use the HSV and get a rainbow like color, you can do that. Simply use random number, floating value, size 3, and low and high. So yeah, see, there you go. That's kind of like a rainbow color going through, and give Mario all this kind of really bright color. You can reduce the saturation if you like. If you don't like to use the rainbow color, you can use the RGB. With the RGB, of course, you need to worry about three value. So RGB, and for 3 value RGB, you can do it this way. 3 random value for RGB, which is the value between the range between 0 and 1, and Currently it's grayscale. You know why? Because the seed is all the same. We need to randomize the seed so we get a different value. So yeah, so that's actually how you do it. It's the whole thing is pretty. Um, I found it very streamlined if you are doing it this way. And if you want to give like 1,000 variations, you can do it with frame. So frame number will change for every frame, and then you can do it this way. Frame goes in here, and then give it just a slight offset. This always gives me an error. It's in it actually to convert float to integer. Once you do that, it's kind of working fine. And another different seed number for blue color, and then float to integer. And now for every frame you get a different Mario color, and you can render it out and give like 1,000 frames and give it to Shigeru Miyamoto. And yeah, so that's how you can randomize like an image or like a character, whatever, using Blender Compositor and using Sphere you can get this like a very quick way to randomize the color simply by playing around with the color ramp elements. Okay, so that's pretty much it. Thanks again for tuning in, and I'll see you next time. Thank you. Bye.